Welcome to another session of Ender Space 2, and this time I'm playing through the Unfallen, the ultimate kings of influence, pressure, diplomacy, and a peaceful but proactive playstyle. So the Unfallen really benefit from these celestial vines. It's their way of colonizing. Instead of making colony ships and landing outposts on new systems, they spread their vines from system to system, which helps them both put pressure on other factions diplomatically and expand across multiple systems relatively quickly once they get over a very slow early game phase. So I'm going to explain about that more in greater detail after we watch the opening cinematic. And obviously start up the game. So as you can see, well, maybe you can see, the Unfallen are basically a race of tree people. Some of them are mobile, like these small ones. Some of them have grown into larger trees that are immobile. There's actually different types of population yet.
Ignorant of other worlds, of other races, we slumbered for ages. We were even ignorant of ourselves, for we knew fire as rebirth, renewal, life, not the death, from above as from below. The carnage of the flames terrified us, but the heart soothed us, and we thought long about what we must do. For this new fire also awoke things inside us, talents, truths, and a desire to heal the galaxy. Everything begins with fire, but we will not let everything end with fire.
An eternity of peace has been shattered by the arrival of violent alien species on the world of Koyase.
So that's basically the Unfallen. They really care about peace, harmony. They philosophize about fire a ton. That's basically their identity. We'll see more of that in the faction quest line. Now, the thing that makes the Unfallen distinct, and what I'll be focusing a lot on this guide, is how they colonize. Instead of just starting with a colony ship that just lands a colony on a new planet, the Unfallen use this vine system, implant beacon, to slowly spread the vines from these celestial vines around your main system, from one system to another. And that has certain limitations. So it means that we need a lot of ships before this actually becomes fast. On one ship means that it takes 20 turns to reach a new system. So we start off relatively slowly compared to other factions. It also means that we have to keep vining one system off the other. Typically we can't skip from one system to the next, so we're going to have to sometimes vine over systems that are not great colonies. So we're starting off relatively slow, but once we get up to 4 vine ships, and then another 4, we can get these in 5 turns. If you stack vine ships together, this implant beacon goes 5 turns faster for each vine ship, up to 5 turns at 4 vine ships. And once we have several fleets of these vine ships just vining up, we can very quickly expand across our sector of the galaxy. The other sort of hidden bonus with vines is that if you put vines over other factions' systems, you get a lot of influence pressure on them, and vines actually prevent you from being influence pressured out. So this is a thing that comes up a lot if you're a pacifist faction or playing a pacifist playthrough, is that you have to worry about your systems being influence converted if you're in the same zone of influence as another faction. But fortunately, we don't have to worry about that. In fact, if we put our vines on systems we're at peace with, we can easily put huge amounts of pressure on them and influence convert their systems. So that's how we're going to expand through other empires' territory. This is not a violent way of doing that, but it is obviously a way of putting pressure on other players. We can also make alliances and then put vines on other systems we're allied with, and in that way access new territory. The Unfallen really thrive on peace and alliance because of these vines. So that's going to be our strategy for this playthrough. We want to get our early economy going, use the vines to expand, then find another civilization, vine over it, and the civilizations we want as allies, we'll make allies of them, and use them to defend ourselves, or combine our forces with theirs to defend ourselves against more powerful nations. And those nations we don't want as allies will just stay at peace with them and slowly convert their systems with implant beacon. And that will quickly let us go towards a conquest victory. This is reasonably easy to get for this faction because of how easy a time we have of influence converting other systems. So that's the basic strategy. The idea is don't fall too far behind the opening, build up at least 3 stacks, or 2 to 3 stacks of 4 vine ship fleets, and use this vine colonization method not only to colonize lots of new systems, but then also to put diplomatic pressure on friends and then slowly convert their systems. Sounds slightly nefarious when I put it that way. So now the first, and obviously that will help us towards picking up a conquest victory, or whatever victory we choose to go for at that point in the game, right? Let's not worry about that too much. But conquest is the main sort of victory type, which we're aiming at. So that being out of the way, we have to think about how we're going to start out. There's 3 things, basically. Actually, 4 things. The first thing we have to decide what kind of system improvement we want. We also have to decide what science we want and what laws we want. And lastly, we have to decide what we're going to do with our hero. So let's start with the last. So our hero can actually be doing a bunch of different things. Our Unfallen skill tree has bonuses for food production, which is not bad on the governor, and bonuses for influence production, which we're okay with, actually. Bonus influence means better laws, means more diplomatic options, means more options to force peace. By the way, that's an important part of our legal system. We're a pacifist nation. We start as a democracy. We start with a pacifist party, and that allows us to force peace. And forcing peace is deceptively powerful. Basically, if a faction is not, if we encounter a faction like, say, the Riftborn or the Volters, which is not too warlike, we force peace with them. The state of being at peace will gradually make them like us a bit more. This is a funny thing about how the AI works, but I think it's pretty cool because it really lets you play as a pacifist nation if that's what you're into. Unlike in Endless Legend, which I've been playing a bit recently, where it's just kind of difficult, unless you're playing the Draken, to pursue that alliance-making strategy right from the start. It's really cool that this pacifist party, not a particular faction, but a political system in the game, lets you pursue that. So this is important that we stay pacifists, at least for our strategy. At some point, we might want to be doing other things, like it's possible for us to branch into the military if our economy is strong enough, or whatever. So we start as a democracy, which means we get bonus law slots, so basically more laws. And we also have a small happiness bonus per population, which is, it's fine. Generally, I don't really have a preference with these government types. I know the Federation is really well suited towards expansion and picking up new... no, not Federation, sorry. Is it Federation? Oh yeah, it is Federation. +1 system before over-colonization penalty per hero and empire. So this is really well suited towards expanding a lot. Democracy isn't. It's just all-round decent. But doesn't really matter. I don't really change these that much. Potentially because I'm not that good at that part of the game. Alright, so let's go back to our hero. So we do want pacifist stuff in general. It's also a decent fleet commander. This upgrade gives us bonus health regeneration ratio in fleets. But that's a senator bonus as well. Our hero is also a scout, meaning a decent fleet commander. But I think at the start of the game, we're not going to be worrying too much about commanding fleets. I want to pursue a mostly pacifist approach, unless I'm forced to. Go into militarism early. Later in the game, of course, we can go into military technologies. But I think for now, we're going to pick up these flat science bonuses. Pretty decent at the start of the game. Very bad later on. But this optimal operations expert is really not exciting. So I'm going to go for that. I'm also going to pick up percentage bonuses to food in some order. But starting out as a governor is not always ideal. Instead, I want to retrofit the ship. Here's the important trick. In case you didn't know this already, it's in a bunch of guides. Basically, make sure you strip all of the weapons of the ship. Put in here an engine and 2 probes. This ship is good. It's a good hero ship because it has the possibility to have 5 movement and 2 probes. And what this retrofit will allow us to do is to use our hero to research a lot of curiosities, which gets our hero a lot of experience, gets us bonuses from those curiosities, and then once the hero can be reassigned, we put them on our main system when they're actually be doing anything useful. Because at the start of the game, you don't get that much experience from like waiting for drone networks to complete or something. So let's slap our hero onto our fleet here. And we can start thinking about, do we want to send a probe out in this direction? We already have one location available to us. And looks like it has easily colonizable planets like tundras. So we're not too worried about not finding a place to buy now. So we're just going to use both of the probes on this questionnaire. Always remember to have the hero in your fleet when you're using probes to research curiosities, because the hero will get the experience. And then you can uncouple the fleets later, and the hero doesn't actually lose any movement points. So we go here. We have Jadonics on this planet. That's really nice. So we basically made a Guardian. Now, what Guardians are is they're these stationary population units. Our normal population units on Unfallen give us bonus food on Fertile and bonus food in general. Not bad. But the Guardian is kind of interesting. You only get Guardians by researching curiosities. I mean with fleets, obviously. You research curiosities, and then you pick up these Guardians. There's a Guardian on this planet, by the way. And once you colonize the planet, or anyone colonizes the planet, they get this Guardian population. And it does a bunch of things. Most importantly, it gives us bonus influence production, like here. If we're friendly, which obviously we are, we're friendly with Unfallen. And reduces the influence production of a nation that's not friendly with Unfallen. So basically, this is a subtle trick you can use in multiplayer, or even against the AI. You can reveal Guardians on their systems. They can't get rid of them unless they want to do this extremely expensive sacrifice Guardian thing, which takes forever. Actually, never mind. We can do that immediately. I guess for other players it takes a while. So they can try and get rid of that, but in the meantime it's just going to sap off their influence if they want to be at war with us. So it's a way of encouraging other players to be at peace with you, which is really awesome. We can colonize this planet immediately, actually, weirdly enough. That is really easy to colonize. Did not expect that. I guess because it's a jungle planet. Ocean planet? Yeah, never mind. Cool, so we've researched those 2 things for our questionnaire. Wait, actually we have to research this thing. I might even want to pick up the planets first then. And we found another Jadonics deposit. So we have Jadonics here and Jadonics here. That's amazing. In case you didn't know, Jadonics is a luxury resource. You can spend it to upgrade your system via system development upgrades found here. Once you get this tier bonus, you unlock them. And you basically spend 40 Jadonics to improve the science, or however much Jadonics it is, to improve the science of a system permanently. 25, I think. So having Jadonics in our starting system is incredible. It's really going to help us out. Now, I wanted to talk about how we're going to improve our main system, but let's just move our fleets out first. Well, I'm going to separate this fleet, and as you see, the hero ship didn't lose any movement points, only the questioner did, but we got experience on our hero. So that was a good maneuver. We're going to send our hero ship out like this. So I've been talking a lot about what to do with the hero ship. Okay, here is a toxic and a Terran planet with more Jadonics. This planet is enticing, mostly because it's Hyperium Titanium. But I almost wonder if I should go in this direction, because then the Vine ships have more options. So if you go in this direction, we have 3 planets systems we could vine next. Obviously it takes 20 turns to vine a system. If we go this direction, we have 1 system we could vine next. So this way gives us more options in the long run. So it's probably the correct choice. And they're both similarly good. If this system is way better than this system, I'd go for that system first. But they're close enough that I think having the options is better. Given that we're in the dark about what is over here and over here. There's no curiosities to find here. At least not at our level, so we should send this questioner over there. So we've sorted out our hero ship. We know our hero is a great scout who can get a lot of experience. We're going to turn the hero into a better governor later on. So now we have to think about our economy and industry and science. So Xeno-industrial infrastructure is overpowered. I've talked about this in another video I recently posted about the top 5 sciences, at least according to my opinion, in the game. And Xeno-industrial infrastructure is no doubt one of them. It gives you huge science bonuses on the system, especially if you have fertile and temperate planets. Let's look at our system. We start on a fertile temperate planet. So that means immediately we think about picking up xenolinguistics. But we also got really lucky. We have a temperate and a fertile, and a hot and a fertile. So we're easily going to get 80 industry out of xenolinguistics, which is incredible. And it turns out we can just pick up these systems really easily. Look at the base output. It's basically like picking up a better version of this drone network, because we're getting basic output from these planets, but here's the upside: it costs a lot less industry. So often you want to look at early in the game, if you can colonize new planets in your system, it's often going to be worth it. Remember, in our first playthrough, when I was really nervous because of my first playthrough, or first walkthrough I should say, this is more like I know how to play this faction, I want to teach you. I opted for the Rift board, and then I found a lava planet in my opening system, and I colonized that very quickly because of the huge industry boosts it gave me. So these planets are good choices. I'm probably not going to move our populations over there, but we already uncovered, I believe we uncovered a Guardian on one of them, or at least we uncovered Jadonix, and Jadonix is excellent. We want to build it up quickly, and also we're getting flat bonuses from these planets. So these planets are excellent. We want to pick them up as fast as possible. Afterwards, we can think about picking up Drone Network, maybe. In the meantime, I do want to rush out Xeno, because with these 3 planets, once we get Xeno, we'll have 80 industries. So this is an amazing start. I cannot overstress this. Unfortunately, Xeno is just the best upgrade in the early game, which is kind of sad, because I'd like to see more diversity. I wonder if there were different ways to build up your industry early on, to make Xeno less of like an auto-include. So I'm thinking about picking up things that improve our science. One way to improve your science is to boost it into loyal. And you get loyal by improving your happiness, for instance by using toys for trees. What kind of boys are here? I don't know. So we can change this to happy. I think happy will be 70 plus. Yeah, 78. And I'm not sure about this. I think we can get away with Cram Exam Act, which improves our science a little bit more per population, at the cost of happiness per population, because nobody likes to do exams. And actually, we're still loyal, so we're getting the percentage bonus, which is less important now than the flat bonuses. Like 6 bonus science is really relevant. Wait, 6 bonus science per population. Sorry. No, 3 bonus science. So that knocked xenolinguistics down to 5 turns. This is really important on the Unfallen, because your starting science production is anemic without these laws. And obviously science is really important for kicking that up. We also want to pick up public-private partnerships, because it's basically Xeno for science. And colonizing Tondo is also okay. So our starting system has to be something we can work on a bit, because the vines take forever to get going. And fortunately our starting system is great. So like, it's great, basically. We might worry about being knocked out of this loyal status by our law, Cram Exam Act, if we get too many populations. I guess if we get 2 extra populations, we won't be knocked out of it. So we can think about infinite supermarkets, but it's kind of expensive without extra industry. We can also think about sustain. I guess these things are kind of expensive. We'd rather start with Drone Network or Cerebral Reality. They're both considerations. I guess I kind of want to build up my industry and food, so I get up xenolinguistics faster. But I think I'm not sure if I'd rather have... I guess I'm getting Cerebral at some point anyway. It's probably best to just start with Drone Network. And if we don't finish, this is not the end of the world. We'd rather have Xeno. We just want something to do in the meantime, while we set our system up and wait for Xeno to pop. Okay, we discovered Jadonix. Our hero is excellent. Here are traits, by the way. Like I said, Celestial Vines is the really important one. Oh, I forgot about Harmonious. So basically, we benefit a lot from being at peace, in addition to extra laws that you can improve your happiness with when you're at peace. So we have this extra bonus for being at peace in terms of happiness. So it's really easy to keep everyone happy once you start making peace. And also, our ships are better, and our forces are better, based on how many alliances we have. So, again, really important that we just focus on making peace with a bunch of factions, because it will help everything out. It'll help our happiness, and it'll help our military later in the game. Now, we also, this is a new thing to the Supremacy DLC, we start with an Obliterator shield on the main system, which will save us 50 Hyperium and 50 Titanium later in the game. This is something we want to get anyways. I believe this shield probably comes from, it's probably lore justified somehow, I don't know. Alright, we picked up one of those planets I was talking about. And we picked up an extra population in this Guardians, which is great. It also gives us bonus happiness to fuel our lore, putting us into Devoted. That's great. And our science is coming out super strong. So, that was amazing, actually. Excuse me? So, we're actually doing amazingly. Do we even have to get destroyer networks at this point? I'm not sure. I guess either's unlikely to finish before we get Xenolinguistics, and we have to prioritize Xenolinguistics. But getting extra industry to help us get Xeno out is going to be fine. Now, yeah, this is an excellent start. We get this population addition, so we basically got a free population in addition to the flat bonus. So basically, and also we're getting Jadonics each turn, and we're getting another flat bonus. So our start is basically perfect. I wonder if at some point, maybe I don't want to make too many series with the same faction, but I might do a series where I just do the first couple of turns with a bunch of different starts. Just give you an idea of the overview or the variance you can get. This case is amazing, by the way. It's like 10 out of 10 probably. Like, so I'm just going to continue to research curiosities with my hero, just to get hero some extra XP. So when we reassign him as a governor in 7 turns, he's going to be giving us a lot more value. And generally, in the first 7 turns, you're not going to be doing something amazing with the system, so you're probably going to get more experience out of researching curiosities. And also, researching curiosities is valuable in and of itself, because it gives you things like more knowledge of planet attributes, and also gives you loot sometimes. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned, but they are excellent for producing influence fast, and we already have 2, so we're going to have a ton of influence very quickly. Makes me want to... democracy can't cheat with laws, but if I could, I would. Just making extra use of this influence is going to be important. So here we can start vining up. And what does that mean? It means that in... Oh, it reveals that, interesting. It means that in 20 turns, we'll be able to colonize the system directly. Much like other factions, we don't have outposts. I feel like I played only factions that don't have outposts. Possibly because I prefer that. I promise I'll turn to a faction which does have outposts at some point in the future. But basically, we need to wait 20 turns as it currently stands to colonize this. We can speed this process up by assigning more vine ships to this, up to a total of 4. And we're going to have to build vine ships at some point. In anticipation of that, I guess I want to... Whoa, sorry. In anticipation of that, I want to say that we have a trick where we can just build an empty vine ship and then retrofit it with dust to make it more important, or make it cost more dust than industry, which is a good way of getting more vine ships if we're industry choked but dust heavy. Might not be the case in this game. Anyway. Alright. So this is all fine and well. I wonder what improves our stats the most. So this improves our science by quite a bit. And this improves our nothing. This planet just gives us more science. This planet just gives us... Wait. Planet just gives us less of everything, except it gives us more industry. Yeah. So we get a lot less science this way, but we get a lot more industry. That might be more important, I think, at the moment at least. More food on these planets. So these are similar, except this has more science. So this is better. And this is giving us more industry, meaning that we can get the drone networks out faster, but we're losing out on science. And dust, I think. Or marginally on dust. Yeah, we're basically just losing out a bit on science. Let's see if the food situation has changed. And no, we're still getting population in 2. So I think this has to be the correct choice, just because the extra industry is probably worth it. Picking up drone networks and linguistics sooner is important, I think. So we still want to keep these up, just to make sure early game science is bad. Before I was choosing these laws, my science was really slow with this faction. You really need to pick laws to compensate for the slow science otherwise, I think. And that's why I'm also going for public-private here, just because I want extra science. It's something you can fall behind on with this faction, you know, in addition to early colonization. Though our start is good enough that I don't think we should worry about falling behind. And that's really the only real worry when playing this faction. You know, in addition to spawning next to Quavers, because, you know, life, but, yeah. What can you do? We found another Guardian. We leveled up our hero. That'll be important when we reassign him as a governor. Or is it a he? Oh, it's a she. My bad. I'm sorry. When we assign her as the governor, I should always check. My bad. We'll use that skill point, but we don't have to make that decision right away. So I guess we'll send our scout in this direction and make sure our hero has something to research every turn. We could just bounce here and research that quickly. Now we could research this curiosity. Well, it's a guardian, so that's fine. We don't need that until later. We're just going to keep this vine chip here for the next 20 turns, plus minus. Well, that's probably minus, unless the vine chip has to move for some reason. And so far everything is fine. This massive influence production is something we can't currently make use of. We don't really have laws that hurt our industry. We could choose this. Bonus food per population on anomaly is not that great though. And diplomatic cost reduction is not really important if our influence production is so high. So yeah, neither of these ecologists or pacifist early laws are very impressive actually. In general, I find the ecologist laws unimpressive, but yeah. Maybe I'm just not seeing something. Or they're all bad, but you know. Okay, so this seems to be a long star lane. That probably means another faction's at the other end. Doesn't have to be that, but it probably is. So, shall we send her up the next? I guess we can send her further. It's probably not going to be another huge star lane. I struggle to imagine that there's like massive star lanes. Galaxy looks really nice, by the way. As usual. This game is very pretty. Next time we pick up Xeno. Yeah. Which is very exciting. Alright, and we pick up the first chapter of our faction quest. So basically the Unfallen are freaking out because they have encountered new civilizations and that there's awoken them from their slumber. And we have to decide, are we... well, they basically have a bunch of philosophical questions like, where do they come from? And that sparks questions about, like, where do we come from? So basically we're playing as philosophy trees. And since I'm studying philosophy, that's very happy. That makes me kind of happy. The important thing about the Unfallen is that they have a special connection to the heart of Koyaso, a mysterious entity that sort of guides their civilization. So the question is, do we want to know things? Or do we want to grow things? And growing means we need to possess new star systems. The reward is Transvine, which is great because the bonus happiness. That seems a bit lower than I remember. Probably because I've been playing too much Endless Legend. So Transvine is something we could pick up. Maybe it's been rebalanced, who knows. Random technology is also enticing though, and possessing 2 anomalies in our empire might actually not be that hard. No anomalies here, though. The question is which is going to be easier. Here, strong magnetic field is not hard to pick up. Are there anomalies in this section? Potentially here. The steps has 2 anomalies already. So that should be kind of easy. Yeah, so let's go with that. The random technology is probably going to be better than random luxuries, which we might not even use because we have Jade Onyx. Luxuries without a way to produce them are kind of bad, because then you have to spend lots of dust on getting luxuries and it's a pain in the ass. So let's go for knowledge. Yeah. What do we like for the Ferraris? And yeah, I think that's a good choice. And the random technology might be good, might be bad. Most technology is not terrible, but we leveled up in that sector. That's good. Now we gain an additional population, meaning we have more production. Now we have to pick up Xeno. I guess picking up drone networks first is important, because getting 10 extra industry might speed this up. Xenobiology is the next thing on our agenda. I can consider dropping Toys for Boys, but I think being on Devoted is probably even giving us more science. So I'm giving us more industry on the system. I don't know what Devoted does again. It gives us bonus food and influence. Those are both nice to have. And this is a nice system as well. That's great. So we have a nice system to spread to. We'd have to cross this system, which is slightly rubbish. I mean, Ash is not the worst, and it has some nice anomalies. I take it back. This system is good. 20 on system, and plus, yeah, this Tree of Worlds is great, actually. It's a tree, you know, tree playthrough. I mean, like, how lucky am I being? How lucky am I getting? All right, well, this is the A+ start, and yeah. Everything is going well for us currently. I mean, you know, there's going to be some variance. I like this playthrough so far. Maybe it'll be more informative to have a walkthrough with like a lot of struggles and stuff. But you know, we'll have plenty of time for that. I can always do a slower start video just to show you what that's like at some other point. But for now, I'm going to enjoy myself. What a beautiful start. Now, Boreal has more Jade Onyx, as if we needed more of that. And here are a bunch of curiosities on this Monsoon planet. I'm not going to pick up the Guardians. I don't think I'm not sure if they probably give us XP, but I want to check out these curiosities first because of the likelihood of loot. We've got even more Jade Onyx, good lord. So, in 3 turns, well, I should probably say, Praise the Heart or something. Yeah. So, in 3 turns we can reassign this hero, meaning we can research 3 more curiosities, of which there are many on the system, so that's good. In the meantime, we can send out the scout. The sooner we find another empire, the sooner we can put this influence to good use. And also if we find minor civilizations, we can just dump this influence. It almost makes me want to send this hero out to scout a bit more. Almost. But then again, the experience is nice. I can always build another scout ship. I don't think we'll be strapped for industry. As you can see, getting the Draener was nice. This is now reduced to 5 turns. If we move these around, does that change anything? No, it doesn't. So I guess we'll just move it to the planet with the most everything else. Yeah, this is probably the best planet. Always good to micromanage a bit. I almost want to rush the Jade Onyx now that we have 3 production on Empire. Yeah, I almost want to rush this tier, to be honest. This is something you almost never get in Endless Difficulty, assuming that we're playing on Endless Difficulty. Show game settings. Yeah, we are. So, yeah, we can basically forget about this. Although the blue card model would be nice, because like I said, it's amazing. I so badly want to get the Jade Onyx. Like, 60 bonus industry is huge. Like, and we already have this food bonus, we're already getting a science bonus, we already have the opportunity to do diplomacy with minor factions and even have infinite supermarkets. Like, we don't need extra technology, so I almost want to rush that. You know, this is really an example of how to kind of snowball a good lead. I want this eventually, just because the marketplace is something you want unlocked at some point. Buying out is something you also want at some point. I don't know how good Astrofinance is. We have lots of planets with luxury resources on them. So this is actually something that seems kind of decent at the moment. We'll get the buyouts later when it's more valuable. So I guess we'll go pick up these two. We can pick up this Ash first. We know we're going to colonize Ash at some point. We don't have to... I mean, the marketplace is good later. It's not good immediately, though. I'll think about this. I'll think about which technologies to pick up after we pick up public-private. Not 100% sure on that. I mean, I think these technologies are all decent. Sorry about this. Actually care about... Go away, New York Times. There. Whoa! Sorry, now you saw more of the uploads. At the time of recording, I'm trying to finish uploading the Cultist series, so that's why. Sorry for that technical mishap, that's kind of funny. So, Xenotourism agencies. Like, all of these technologies are decent, but not exciting, so I don't know which one to get. But I definitely want to get this tier bonus, so I'll definitely pick up some of these researchers in the near future. And again, with our hero ship, we just want to get a little bit of extra experience, make sure we can put her back as our governor later, because she's smart, and she'll improve our science by 30 points, potentially, or food by a lot more. How much science are we getting per turn? I mean, almost 30 points is no joke at this point in the game. Although, partly that's for lack of better options, I would admit. That's just... We might as well put a Guardian here, because this is likely to be... So once you vine a system, you can colonize one planet for free, and then you have to colonize the rest manually. We can think about just picking up the Guardians here. Making sure that our colony ships have something to latch onto. I'll do that next turn. I do kind of want to scout here. If I get lucky and discover a minor civilization, then I can quickly... Yes! Everything is perfect! Everything is perfect. Alright. So sometimes I get really lucky, and this is one of those times. Sometimes I get unlucky, you know, how life works. We can just bounce back and forth, and then we have 2 probes to research 2 remaining things. So this is really like... now we can dump our extra influence into impressing these people. These good, extremely warlike, friendly people. The more we pray... we have enough influence to dump. We have a huge amount of influence generation. So we can very quickly make this into a new colony for us. We can't actually. But we'll get extra... The way colonization of minor factions works, or integration of minor factions sounds a lot better and less evil, is that we have to actually vine their system to be able to assimilate them. But the upside is that if we praise them, we can get them to trust us, and then they share resources, etc. with us and won't attack us. So it's a way of turning influence into later resources. So that's definitely something we're into at this stage of the game. We're just sending this craft down. We're probably looking to see who our neighbors are. That might affect how we play the early game. Like, if we're next to Cravers, we have to abandon our plan. And this is the Behemoth quest line, by the way. Definitely worth thinking about picking up Supremacy if you want to use Behemoth ships. They're pretty cool. As I said, as I was trying to say, this 100 dust in a single star system thing is basically impossible to get if you're playing on endless difficulty, because life. So we leveled up that. I'm not sure what these... Oh, we've got a better engine. I better make sure that I put that on our ships. Whoa. Sorry about that lag. Yeah, if we're going to make scout ships, we might as well take the guns away. They're not very useful as weapons. The vine ships also need better engines. Again, not very useful to have them have armor. Well, I guess having them have armor is not the end of the world. How much extra industry does it really cost? And at that point, I might as well pick it up, to be honest. Like, is it really going to delay it by more than a turn? Probably not. I'm not actually sure about this. Ideally, vine ships don't even get targeted in the first place, so probably want to strip it, actually. So Xeno-Industrial is coming along nicely. That's excellent. I guess this devoted bonus is probably still worth it. Just the extra food on the system is also very nice. We gained yet another population, so that's great. Let's see if switching them all does anything. No, it does not. The approval to industry doesn't actually help us. The huge food bonuses we have right now are great. I mean, look, a lot of the food upgrades in this game are not great. They're not something I would ever prioritize. The possible exception of intensive cultivation. So having a main population unit that improves food production is very nice. We almost want to jump directly into vine chip production though. Let's see how good our industry is. I guess I probably want to pick public-private up first. Now I mentioned I want Jadonics. The early game industry is super important for us, particularly with the Unfallen, because we have to build up those vine chips stacks really fast if we want our colonization to ever take off. So I'm going to have to get this ash technology at some point for this system. We're going through here. We have to go here to pick up this civilization. So we know we're doing that. So we're going through the ash no matter what. So I guess I want to pick this up. Also, luxury lottery, something you can benefit from. Not the best upgrade, but you know, it's not terrible. And I guess Astro Finance is something also I'm interested in because I have 2 luxury deposits on my systems. Galactic Commodities Exchange is important in general, though. I mean, we want this no matter what. And Astro Finance, I'm not actually sure if we want this no matter what. I'm not sure what the correct choice is here. I think as we have so much Jadonics production, we don't have to worry about picking up luxuries for a while. So I guess Astro Finance is the choice. We'll pick this up later again. I guess the thing is I want to try out Astro Finance because okay, it turns out there isn't another civilization here, it looks like. There probably is, actually. I'm just going to keep scouting with this ship. I don't really want to check our curiosities just yet. We want to send the ship back. We continue to vine up, so that's good. Yeah, everything is fine so far. I mean, once this pops, we're getting 80 industry. I mean, I was going to get this first no matter what, because of Koyasil, right? Temperate, fertile, excellent. But, yeah, it's so good now. 80 bonus industry is insane. Once you pick up these extra things, we'll have an additional 60 industry in our main system. So we should be able to pump out these vine ships in no time. We're still going for the science upgrades. The question is whether we want different laws. Super tax access is okay, but the question is, do we really want to compromise our happiness for that dust? And we'd rather compromise our happiness for science, I think, at the moment. Wow, that sounds like a great campaign slogan. Compromise your happiness for science. I guess we might as well pick up these Guardians here in case we don't come back to that. Does that improve hero XP? I think it does. I hope it does. Yeah, we're level 3. Should be fine. Now we can reassign our hero to this system, I think, as a governor. Now the question is, what do we want first? Do we care about 30 industry, sorry, 30 extra science a turn? Or do we care about 7% increase to food, which is reasonably substantial at this point, actually. It might not actually improve anything, though. Although, I wonder which is going to get well, I think both are things we want. Question is, do we want this more than we want this? They're both mediocre at this stage, actually. Because like, industry and science is likely to go so good anyways. There's stacks of this, though, which is nice. Let's see, how much populations do we have? We have 6 population units. So this is basically a 6-point boost to food and industry per level. Versus this being a... This is at least a 7... No, this is more than a 7-point boost already. So this is just better in the long run. That's why it's definitely the better upgrade. Hero skills are reasonably demanding. I don't know. There's not too much room for screwing around, I guess. I think I almost want this more. Yeah, we're getting enough science. I don't think we have to worry about Blue Sky Speculator. Although science is reasonably valuable. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going for this though. If we randomly get something out a turn sooner because of that upgrade, I'll be really happy. And also, it stacks very nicely with the food upgrade. Oh, Sahar. Sahar's like my lucky planet. I've been I've been getting this in a bunch of a lot of my Ender Space playthroughs actually. Well, there's like 2 or 3 of them, so like, you know, a lot is already stretching it, but you know, I've been seeing Sahar a decent amount recently. It's too hostile, hey? Be friendly, Sahar. We're gaining 8 a turn of these populations. We don't have to dump more influence into them. We could if we wanted to. We wouldn't have to. So after getting public-private, I have to think about picking up extra vine ships. Now we can do the dust trick, where we... I don't know why it's freezing when I select vine. We can do the dust trick where we just make an empty ship for 400, and when we transform it, we're basically saving 100 industry at the cost of a hefty amount of dust. The thing is, we're actually saving that much industry. Well, we'll see how many turns it shaves off. If it shaves off a bunch of turns, we're into it. We want to pick up public-private first, though, because public-private is going to give us 80 bonus science, which is pretty insane for this portion of the game. It's almost going to double our science output. Maybe I should have picked the 30 science up. Yeah, maybe it's actually better. Oh well. It's just that in the long run, that upgrade is a lot worse than the other 2. Although in the short run, maybe it was worth it. If our science was worse, I probably would have picked it up. I'm just going to let this run its course for 7 turns. We should be on pretty good terms with them at that point. I do want to get another scout at some point, just to make sure we cover all this area. I do want to find other factions soon. If we're next to Cravers, I feel like that's the only thing that could go wrong here. Like next to Cravers, I'm like, let me do my peaceful thing, and then I get crushed. Having a happy time, and then, yeah, meet the in-laws. Meet the Craver in-laws. That sounds horrifying. By the way, they want to enslave you. Alright. 11. 11 turns is pretty good. The public-private is really quick to build at this point. As you can see, in 4 turns we'll even have the Jadonics buff. So actually in 5 turns. Probably less time with this public-private. You can think about just popping out a Vine Ship. The Dust Trick Vine Ship is a little bit faster, as you can see. Shaving a turn off that is probably worth it. Yeah. Alright, let's go with that. Just sending my scout out. Okay, at this point we can probe. Okay, just, yeah, a Guardian. Maybe it cost me a turn to get back here. These scout ships are really not too impressive. Scout ships in general in this game. Not that important. Okay, excellent. We're getting Astro Finance here. I think I want Astro Finance because the bonuses to dust production might be relevant if we choose to go for impactless sites, a technology I really like, to hire mercenaries as in heroes early in the game. As you can see, the academy hasn't been discovered yet, so getting heroes the traditional way is going to take us a while. Sorry about that, mouse over the wrong location. So, in that case, picking up Pulvis production, no, actually picking up G-Services Exchange is quite valuable to us. Also the ability to vacate system if for some reason we're feeling suicidal. The G-Services Exchange is very important because then we can just buy heroes And this works very well together with the potential for dust improvement we're getting from xenotourism agencies. Not sure if this will be great, but it'll definitely help us fund extra heroes. Not that dust production is bad by any stretch, but I almost want to makes me want to save dust. It's just one turn. Just one turn. Famous last words. Actually, that's the. Actually, we're not going to finish this before we get the Jadonics online. No ways. We definitely not with public-private. In that case, we're probably going to get Jadonics online, at which point the vine chips will come flowing, so I don't want to waste dust, actually, now that I think about it. This is a very specific circumstance. Normally I'd probably do that, but this is a specific circumstance where we're overflowing with industry, and it makes me feel comfortable saving the dust. Because dust is valuable. It's not as... It's something you should be comfortable spending if it will get you an advantage. Okay, somebody just discovered the academy. And somebody has searched 10 curiosities. Something we might have been able to do. I should probably have checked this out. But the reward is wine, so... Yeah, don't really care. I think this has been nerfed. Pretty sure it used to be 20. I can't remember though. Yeah. Searching 10 curiosities is not... It's something we could have done, actually. Oh well. Doesn't actually matter. Because the reward was anemic. This Endless Research Park and Endless World is nice to pick up, because it gives you bonuses for dust and science when you're happy, which is always. It's very easy to become fervent, or... It's very easy to stay super happy in this game. Which is good. Vine chips. I'm just going to build vine chips, like I said. Now we have to think about different technologies. We can go straight for impactless. I don't know if that's the greatest. Getting bonus happiness on planets is not bad, though we're not struggling to keep up devoted either. Even with the Cram Exam Act. Like the bonuses from Guardians and the democracy bonuses keep this in check pretty well. I'm actually sure what we should go for next. Because botanical scanning is never bad. Fission shielding is never bad. And we're going to have to build military ships at some point, like come on. We're not getting away without it. Magnetic field generators is mediocre at best. I guess we're just going to have to look at what systems we need to colonize. Or what planets we need to colonize, my bad. So colonizing Arctic, that's some... colonizing Ice, Tundra, Barren. Okay, Tundra, Barren. Here we have Toxic, Gas, and Steppes. So Steppes... Oh yeah, Steppes is something we really want for our quest. Okay. So let's see, what does Steppes require? This is Savannah, this is Arid. This is Steppes. Okay, we're just going to pick up the ability to colonize Steppes. Our science is really doing well, mostly because of this amazing start here. Again, part of the reason I felt comfortable going for the extra industry and stuff. Oh, I need to forget not to... I need to forget my scout. I need to remember not to forget my scout. I could have searched the curiosity there, and I probably should have. But whatever, small mistake, no big deal. I mean, it's unlikely to cost that. It's just that I want to play as well as I can in this playthrough. So we have to vine them before we can assist them, and they are basically really happy with us. Yeah, we don't have to worry about this. We can dump more influence into them. Like, our influence generation is kind of obscene at this point in the game. And we've just picked up the ability to make a system development. So let's go for Jadonics. As you can see here, we get 60 points of industry on the system. Oh, sorry. Now that I've gone up there again, I might as well check how long the video's been going. Sorry about that, but like, the video's been going so well, I wouldn't redo this. Small hiccups are fine. So I'm going to pick up that machine bacteria, and I guess it's actually a good time to stop the video. Let's just click through this other turn. Since I have these probes left over, I'm just going to send them that direction for continuing to scout here. It's possible we're reasonably far removed from another empire. Yeah. I've been talking a lot in this episode. Whoa, look at how quickly we can get out vine ships. This is truly an exceptional start. That being said, we still have economy in turn 15. That's kind of the Unfallen for you, you know. And now we can pump up vine ships very quickly. Although the question is, will we have an easier time getting the dust trick ships? And the answer is yes. Which kind of makes you want to get the dust trick ships. Although, yeah. Alright. I twisted my arm. Yeah, it's important for us to get these out relatively quickly. Okay, so we have to decide on the next research, now that we've picked up the steps. And I think that's a good point for us to end this first episode. So, just recapping, we started off really well with the industry. We can actually move these over to make happiness better. Yeah, we started off really well with our industry production. And that's really going to help us snowball this game quite aggressively, I think. The Unfallen typically have slow starts. We had an amazing start here, and that will really help me showcase what's so powerful about the Unfallen later in the game, this game playthrough, I think. Provided we don't end up next to the Cravers, in which case we're jumping ship on that strategy and we're going straight into military. But, you know, sometimes it's important to have contingencies so that you plan for what can go wrong and changing your strategy. Probably that's a good idea to have when playing against other players, you know. You got to scout out, see if they're doing an early rush, etc. But in the meantime, thanks for joining me. I hope you learned something from this playthrough, or walkthrough rather, because I already know how to play this faction. And I'm quite confident in playing them. And join me for the next episode, where we continue our walkthrough of this faction and expand our knowledge of the sector of the galaxy, where we show you how fast you can vine with multiple fleets of these. And once I've got these fleets up, we can go back to making this system really powerful. So thanks again for joining me. See you next time.